So in this video, I'm gonna do something totally different to anything else previously done on this channel. Now I'm going to rank the top 10 most popular historical movies I could find on IMDb, and together we will figure out which of these movies are truly amazing epic historical masterpieces and which of these films are completely overrated. S will mean the movie is a masterpiece, going all the way down to a D, which is a very lackluster film that I would not recommend to any viewers of this channel. So if this sounds interesting to you, make sure you watch this video till the end. But before we begin, don't forget, if you love anything to do with historical movies and historical TV shows, then subscribe to my channel, History Spark. So according to IMDb, the 10th most popular historical film is The Last Samurai, amassing over 500,000 reviews, and to be fair, I know this film gets a lot of criticism, but I really enjoyed it. Tom Cruise and Ken Watanabe do a great job of leading the film, and Tom Cruise's development from a disgruntled American soldier to a fake wannabe samurai is pretty believable, but pretty rushed as well. However, the plot here is really interesting, the pacing is decent, and the final battle scene is pretty epic and emotional, and is perhaps one of the films that I think really helped romanticize the samurai to Western audiences. Is it a perfect film? No, it really isn't. But it's also not as bad as many people make it out to be, especially over the past few years. And I think ranking this film as a B seems to be pretty fair. It's one of those movies that you might watch if it's on TV or someone else puts it on, but it's not really a film that I would personally go out of my way to watch over and over again. So, The Last Samurai is a certified B film. But next up is my personal favorite World War I movie, which is 1917, with over 760,000 reviews. And this epic war film tells the story of two soldiers being tasked to deliver a very important and crucial message that could save the lives of thousands of soldiers. But the two primary leads will have to pass through no man's land and enemy territory to complete this life-threatening mission. And I know my very basic description of this plot may not sound like it, but this is actually an amazing film, and I understand that delivering a message doesn't really sound like the world's most interesting plot, but oh my god, this movie just never lets up. It's one obstacle after the other, and because of the amazing one-shot camera sequence that is being used within this movie, I honestly felt like I was right there beside the Lance Corporals trying to help them deliver this message. Honestly, I've never been so engrossed in a film like I have been in 1917. And I think 1917 really highlights how important it is to have a simple plot that is really well told and properly paced. And honestly, I just cannot explain how impressed I was with 1917. It blew any expectations I had for the film out of the water. Brilliant acting, realism, a fascinating plot, great pacing. What's there not to like? A solid S for 1917. Whether you agree or not, I think 1917 is a masterpiece that everyone on this channel should watch if they haven't done so already. Next up is another war film, this time taking viewers all the way back to World War II, and that movie is Dunkirk, with over 800,000 reviews on IMDb. And this movie aims to bring the evacuation of Allied soldiers from the French coast of Dunkirk in 1940 to the big screen in a way audiences will never have seen before. And to be fair, the film does just that. Dunkirk is a beautiful and epic film which does a good job of bringing some realism to just how chaotic and desperate this evacuation truly was. But in my opinion, and I know this will be controversial, but I think this film just isn't all that great. Christopher Nolan has made such a beautiful but confusing film here. The story is told from three perspectives, the air, sea and land, but it never comes together in a way that feels truly meaningful. And I don't know about you, but I didn't care about any of the characters in this movie, and I would be surprised if I could remember any of their names maybe even an hour after watching the film. But it's not all bad. Dunkirk does get some things right, but it also gets a lot more wrong. And honestly, after watching it once, I've had no desire to rewatch this film. And I think compared to the quality of the other films in this list, Dunkirk deserves to be the first entry in the C tier of this ranking video. The 7th most popular historical film on IMDb is 300 with over 900,000 reviews. And as I've mentioned previously on this channel many times, 300 was the first historical film I ever watched in theaters when I was just a little kid, and it just made me fall in love with the historical film genre. The epic slow motion battles, the amazing hand-to-hand combat scenes, and the over-the-top characters, it literally made everything in this film feel like it was out of this world. Even as a kid, I could tell this film wasn't realistic, but I didn't care. The 10-foot tall Xerxes felt slimy and easy to hate. Leonidas felt like a true badass who I was certain would find a way to beat all the Persians. I know so many people criticize 300 for being historically inaccurate and far too over the top and action heavy, but I don't care about all of that. It's an entertaining film, and that's what I want in a movie. I want it to entertain me first and educate me second, and 300 did just that. I have never heard the names Xerxes, the Immortals, and Leonidas before I went in to watch this movie, but those are names I don't think I'll ever forget. A solid A ranking for 300, a film that made me fall in love with the whole new genre of films. Next up is the highest grossing biographical film of all time, Oppenheimer. And with over 1 million reviews, it is indeed one of the most popular historical films of all time. But how good was it really? Well, the acting is brilliant, Cillian Murphy is an amazing actor, and the cinematography, set pieces, and general plot is interesting enough as well. But this movie is just so long. When the atom bomb detonates, I thought the movie had ended and thought, oh, that's not too bad, I really enjoyed that. It was a good plot and the pacing was decent. But then I find out there's another hour left of this film. All my nachos were finished, I had no popcorn, and I was thirsty. Honestly, I just couldn't be asked anymore to watch another hour of politicking and career destruction because it just wasn't all that interesting either. Honestly, I feel like this film should have spent much more time in post-production, as it really could have done with a much shorter runtime and better pacing. So all in all, I would be happy to give Oppenheimer a B ranking, as there's definitely more to like about this movie than there is to dislike. And the next historical film on this list revolutionized men in kilts and made historical inaccuracy a key part of its legacy. And that historical movie, of course, is Braveheart, the epic story of William Wallace and his fierce rebellion against the English throne. Beautiful cinematography, set pieces, costume design, and some truly amazing acting by Mel Gibson make this film a really easy and enjoyable watch. The plot moves along at a decent enough pace and the battle scenes are truly stellar, although yes, I understand they're not historically accurate, but it still doesn't mean they aren't some of the best battle sequences of any medieval movie ever created. So yes, there are historical inaccuracies scattered throughout the entire film, but to be fair, that doesn't bother me, and I think based on just how amazing this movie is overall in pretty much every other aspect of entertainment that you would want in a historical film, I have to give Braveheart an A ranking. Next we have a film that is immensely popular with nearly 1.5 million reviews, but audiences seem to forget this is actually a historical film, and I am of course talking about the epic historical romance Titanic, which was the highest grossing film of all time for many years. So I guess the next question would be, is Titanic as good as its reputation makes it out to be? And to be honest, I don't think it is. It was a great movie when it first came out. The acting by Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet was amazing. The plot was fresh and pretty different from anything else in the market at the time, and it did a good job of depicting the sinking of the Titanic. And the third scene of the film is really emotional and harrowing, but in my opinion, it's not really got anything about it that's so interesting or unique that you feel like you need to watch Titanic over and over again. I've watched it twice in my life, and I honestly have no plans on ever rewatching it again. I know some people may absolutely love this movie, but for me it's a solid B. A movie that was great, but not a film that I would say is a must-watch film for fans of historical dramas. But does the next entry on this list meet the criteria to be a masterpiece? And with 1.6 million reviews, it is Schindler's List, easily one of the best World War II movies ever created. And this is the movie that put Liam Neeson on the map, as his performance as Oscar Schindler was just awe-inspiring, maybe even the best performance of his career. This movie is the definition of less is more, as the colors are muted. The story is simple and there are no CGI or over-the-top action sequences here to entice audiences. Schindler's List is dedicated to one singular goal, and that is to bring a realistic and harrowing story about one man's bravery to the big screen, and it nails it. There's literally nothing to dislike about this film. The acting of the entire cast is brilliant, and it is so unique and different to any other World War II movie that it is with no hesitation that I can say Schindler's List is a masterpiece and deserves a spot on the S tier, as it is honestly a movie I would say everyone needs to watch at least once in their life. Next up is my favorite World War II movie of all time, and if the IMDb ratings are to be believed, I think it's a lot of other people's favorite war movie as well. And that is Saving Private Ryan. With over 1.6 million reviews, it is the second most popular historical film on IMDb. I mean, the opening scene of this film may be the greatest and most epic 24 minutes in cinema history. This movie makes it clear from the first minute that this will be a brutal, unforgiving, and realistic look at the chaos of World War II. And the mission of the squad to rescue Private Ryan is so engaging that the 3 hours of this film literally just flies by. The battle scenes are still unparalleled even to this day in my opinion, and the acting by the entire cast is spectacular, and I think this may be the best performance of Tom Hanks' career. Honestly, I just can't emphasize how amazing Saving Private Ryan is. Pretty much a perfect film aside from some minor pacing issues within the second act of the film. But that is honestly just me nitpicking, and I can say that Saving Private Ryan is maybe the easiest S I have given to any film on this list. It is a masterpiece and a film you can watch multiple times and still find something new to love about it, and I think it is the best war movie ever created. And I don't think the top spot on this list should surprise anyone. With 1.8 million reviews, we have Gladiator, the epic sword and sandal film that single-handedly revived the entire world's interest in historical films once again. Gladiator is in my opinion the best film created by Ridley Scott, and this movie depicting the life of a fictional Roman general named Maximus Decimus Meridius is led by an all-star cast, including Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, and Connie Nielsen. And all three of them have what I would label as perfect performances, as I don't think this movie would have been anywhere as good if any of these characters were played by different actors. But aside from the acting, the plot here is brilliant, with so many plot twists and turns that you will have your eyes glued to the screen, as you don't want to miss out on even a minute of this film. But is it a masterpiece though? In my opinion, I don't think it is. Although this movie does have some amazing battle scenes, an engaging storyline, beautiful cinematography, set pieces, costume design, and even perfect acting, it really does still struggle with pacing, and it is just far too unrealistic in many aspects. And I think if we're going to criticize Braveheart for historical inaccuracies, then I think the same criticism should be attached to Gladiator as well, as I would say this film has arguably even more historical inaccuracies in it than Braveheart does. But still, these two flaws cannot be overlooked, and I think they do prevent Gladiator from getting a spot on the S tier. But it is a very strong A ranking for me for Gladiator, which will end up probably being the best film of Ridley Scott's career. So let me know in the comments down below if you agree with my rankings of the top 10 most popular historical films on IMDb. And if you enjoyed this video, please do let me know in the comments down below, and I will continue to do more ranking style videos in the future as well. And as always, if you want to stay up to date with everything to do with historical movies and historical TV shows, then subscribe to my channel History Spark, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.